Alright, gonna make this video now. One thing that I'm gonna go over first, because I didn't go over this last time, was support and resistance. I went over in one of my videos about the RSI lines here and the MACD indicator that I have down here. I did go over that, but that's not really what I'm concerned about in this. One thing that I skimmed over was support and resistance lines. Now, the biggest thing about support and resistance lines is this. A resistance line means there's going to be heavy selling pressure. A support line means there's going to be heavier buying pressure, hypothetically. So, if you can pinpoint where these areas are, you can know where to buy or where to possibly sell and get out of a stock. And I'm going to make this as easy as I possibly can to kind of show you off the idea that I'm talking about. Now, on this stock in particular, it doesn't look like there's a great showing of this because of the way that this stock traded for a long time. But this would be on the daily. I'm going to get off of the daily so maybe I can find easier resistances to see. So right here at this $4, you can see it trades right here for a really long time. This is going to be what you consider a support area where the stock does not want to dip under. This is where you'd be looking to buy because you would like to, ideally, I will show this. This is a resistance up here. As you can see, this candle comes up, touches it. This candle is touching it as well. So this is a resistance line. And I'll go ahead and also say something about resistance lines and support lines. They can change. So at this moment, when it's trading up here, this yellow line right here, this is going to be a support line. But once it falls through the support line, it is no longer a support line. It becomes a resistance line. It is still a line that you want on your chart. Now it's just doing the opposite of what it was doing before. So it fights on this support line for a little bit until it falls through and falls to the downside. Then it finds a new support right here at about $4. And then it tries to break up and go back through that resistance line and fails. Resistance lines and support lines are really easy to see. They're really easy to draw. Basically, you're just looking to see where price has tried to reach and touch multiple times before. And then you put a little line there showing that's where it's wanted to be. That's where it has been. And as you can see, this line that I drew all the way over here, now that I started scrolling all the way over, you actually see that this is where it fell. What month is this? This is the 5th month. I'm not great at months, so I don't know exactly which one that is. But this was months ago, and it respected this number. So it like lets you know a little bit about how strong this line is. Now, once it fell under it, it had to find a new support, which it found for a little bit, roughly around that $4 mark again, and then it fell under, and looks like it found support again at about 36 cents. To which then it comes up and it tries to break this first one. It does. Then it gains again and breaks the other resistance line, now making it a support. Then it climbs up and breaks this other resistance line, making it a support. And then, as you can see, why I'm saying it makes it a support is because now when it starts to fall, you can see it doesn't just fall through this immediately. This is on the 1 hour chart, so this is for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours during the actual trading day. It doesn't really want to fall underneath it. So the basic idea is that you want to buy in on supports. Like when you're looking to buy the dip, you're looking to buy on a support. When you're looking to sell, you're going to look to see if it gets stopped at these resistances, because it can come up and touch this resistance and not break it and fall back down. So in that situation, then you would be looking to sell because you know that resistance is too strong and that it may not break it. Now, I'll go to what I was actually watching the other day when I tried to make this video initially, and I called this out in the stocks group chat and called out multiple plays that you could have gained from the very first call out I made. You could have been up 138%, as you can kind of see up here in the top right, up there. You can see it just a little bit. You could have been up 138% at the very tip top, maybe 140 something. But what I'll go ahead and show, because these are my favorite indicators in the entire market for continuations, the easiest thing to do is find out the trend and to find out where the support and resistance, like I drew out. Now you can see where these support and resistances are. But what you want to be able to know is when it's on a trend, you want to be able to know if it's going to continue on that trend. So there's a indicator called a bull flag. Bull flags are my favorite because they're the easiest to spot and they're the easiest to draw out to show that they're actually happening. So the basic idea is that you have the flagpole and then you have the flag. So I'll go ahead and redraw this in just a second to show you how you would properly draw this, and then I'll switch time frames to show you how this is actually working. So I drew this because I seen it on the 2-minute chart. So I'll go ahead and delete this really quickly, and I'll try to redraw it and show off. First, I will show off what I would have been drawing as I'm watching it, because I'm always wanting to predict the flag before it happens. It's nice to see it after it's happened, but if you can predict while it's happening, you can actually play the stock and make good profit off of the play before it happens. So I'll go ahead and show this. First off, I would want to start building the candles. Now that I've got these 3 candles, I would want to make my flagpole, cover these candles, and I want the bottom, I want this bottom line right here where this point is, I want this to be sitting on a candle or the wick of the candle. So that top bar up here where it's maxed out at 1.13, I would want it to either be sitting on that for the bottom. And what I would end up doing is I want this to be at a slight incline, but in this situation, because of the way the stock was set up, if I move it a little bit better like this, it'll be more of a incline. Basically, while I'm predicting it to begin with, though, I will draw this out and just make this bottom line straight, because in a perfect scenario, it is either just straight across or it has a slight incline going to it. Now, when I'm drawing the top of this flag, I want to place this just a little above the wick or the candle, because I want to be able to create the downward momentum of the downward slope of this line to create this pinch point over here where this top line of the flag and this bottom line of the flag meet. Here's a good tip to know about this. The top line of this flag is going to be your resistance. The bottom line of this flag is going to be your support. So I'm on the 2-minute chart, and you can see it trading pretty well inside of this. But now when I go to the 1-minute chart, and let me scroll over here, you'll actually see how well it's trading inside of this bull flag. Now, it comes up, it tries to touch these resistance lines up here, this top yellow line. It tries to touch it a couple times. It fails, breaks down 9%, and then finds support at the flag that I drew. Comes back up, tests the resistance line again. Then in this candle, it tests the resistance and tests the support. This is a big thing to notice here. You can see it fell underneath the support briefly, so it has a lower candlestick underneath that bottom yellow line. That is okay. You just don't want this to close underneath this flag that you've drawn. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to readjust this slightly so you can actually see this really, really well. You want to make sure that this top part of the flag does not cut through the wick. You don't want it doing this. You don't want the wick cutting through the top in best case scenario. So the best way to draw these out is to go ahead and have it sitting like this just on top of it. And now you can actually see where it's going to break out. As you can see, it pinches here, and then right here, it tries to test the resistance, goes back to the support, closes green, and then on the next candle, it breaks above the resistance part of this flag and then starts to climb. The way you would play this is you would not buy in this flag. You would not buy while it's in the flag. You would set your flag up, you would predict like I did, like I said, I would be on the 2-minute chart, and I would have already drawn this out, and I would have, before all of these candles right here became a thing, I would have already taken this and just done it like this and drew it out as far as I can. And I would also draw the bottom out as far as I can so I can predict where it's going to end up. But once it breaks above this top yellow line, which is my resistance line, and once it closes above this, this is when I would buy in. And I will show you here, if you bought in on this candle after it closes, you are up 3%, 4%. Now it falls at 2%, and then falls another 4%. You're still up, but not by as much as, maybe you would like to be. But it's going to be okay because it starts another bull flag. And I'll show you kind of why it started this other bull flag. If I go ahead and do what I said I normally do and draw this bottom line out like I'm predicting with it, these lines now from that previous bull flag are used as supports. And you can see the price tries to fall down and go through what is that support that you can't see unless you draw this all the way out. It doesn't like being down there, and it spikes up huge, 9%, creating this second bull flag going on right here. Which I did the exact same thing. I drew the flagpole here with the bottom two, engulfing these two candles, and I run this point off the actual candle, and then I drew it straight out flat. Now, yet again, it sits on this bottom line, which is going to be your support right here, this bottom yellow line. It sits on it. Then it breaks up. It tries to test the resistance, fails. Tries to test resistance, fails. Comes back down to the middle. Gets kind of close and levels out right here near the support and near the resistance. But you're looking at you're at the upside of the bull flag, which is exactly what you want. And then yet again, it clean breaks above it. And if you were to buy in here, you go up 2%, 10%. Now you're up 10%. You were possibly up another 18% or so right here. So